Yellowstone Park, with the same area as roughly 160,000 Camp News, it's extremely biodiverse, stacked with all kinds of species. More than the entire continent of Antarctica, as a matter of fact. Similar to Maximum Verstappen, a four-time F1 world champion, in a sport with only 19 opponents, with one being Lance Stroll. Even thinking about Lance Stroll, the gallant cavalier, makes me want to bang my head against a wall. But I'm going off script. Only about 30 years ago, or should I say, a generation ago, Yellowstone was doing about as badly as Real Madrid. It wasn't exactly a barren wasteland, but the ecosystem was in bad shape, just like Max was in bad shape after the qualifying session of the Brazil Grand Prix 2024. He was 17th on the grid.
We'll have a look.
So, in order to understand these two stories side by side, we need to make some things clear. Think of this next segment like the key to a map. Firstly, Yellowstone Park is represented by Max Verstappen, initially doing perfectly fine, got hit with some bad luck, and made a comeback that our children's children will sing about in front of the family fire. The rain, or the precipitation if you will, is represented by the wolves reintroduced to the park. The rain saved Max's race, the wolves saved the ecosystem. You following me? Elk, the local herbivorous stanks, and the primary prey of the wolves. They are, of course, represented by Lando Norris. No explanation needed there. As for Oscar the Goat Piastri, he is a member of the Coyote clan. Smooth transition to Chapter 1. Yellowstone was founded in the year 1872, and life was good. Half-witted herbivores like elk gambling about, keeping their populations in check. We had the carnivores, like grey wolves. So all in all, a merry ecosystem. Similarly, Verstappen was doing marvelously in Q1, taking first position, surprising to say the least. Max hadn't won any of the last 10 Grand Prix, and his vehicle was closer to being a modest minor than something built for speed. Lando Norris, on the other hand, barely made Q2, a mere 0.2 seconds faster than Hamilton. Yellowstone, like Verstappen, thriving. The pouring rain keeping Norris in check, just as the wolves kept the elk under control. But then the dark times began. Frodo Baggins. In January 1883, regulations were announced prohibiting the killing of many species, but not wolves. Admins could eliminate as they pleased, essentially, mostly to protect livestock. Q2, Verstappen slower than his personal best in Sector 1, not quite in the zone. Then it happened. 1907, pressure on the government from cattle industries. Secretary of the Interior licensed to exterminate any animals that could be detrimental to the use of the park. As if wolves were Schweinhunds. From 1915 to 1923, 139 wolves were put to death. Locally extinct by 1926, Lance Stroll, that knight in hideous armor, crashes his steed into the barriers. Out comes the red flag. Verstappen eliminated at 12th position, plus a 5-place penalty, thanks to a new internal combustion engine. Effect on Yellowstone? Increase in elk populations, overgrazing, erosion, decline of tree species, elk control, or should I say, Sergio Perez, ineffective, obviously. More Piastrotis, so less pronghorns, biodiversity taking a dive like Bellingham's career. Yellowstone may as well have been a desert. Verstappen starting miles behind the Nons, 17th on the grid. The Drivers' Championship looking about as difficult to obtain as the Red Bull seat for Liam Lawson.
It will be quite difficult to pass around here with all the spray and the amount of rain, but we'll have a look.
So, in 1995, the government decided to take a look and see if they could revive Yellowstone, at least to a certain degree. The world was not ready for what was to come. Wolf reintroductions. After the Ides of March, 14 wolves shipped directly from Canada were released from acclimation pens in northeast Yellowstone. The pens were used to allow the wolves to gradually get used to the new environment. After roughly a year, they unleashed 17 more into the land, the equivalent of the first reintroduction in F1 terminology was the rain. Droplets of H2O. There isn't much more I can explain besides the molecular geometry of a water molecule, which happens to be non-linear, by the way. The second reintroduction can be compared to the increased intensity of rain during lap 32, which resulted in Franco Colapinto cannoning into the barriers. This, obviously, resulted in a red flag. Might not seem important now, but it might in the end. In the words of Lao Tzu, do you have the patience to wait until the mud settles and the water is clear? Where have I taken this? Yellowstone, man, back to Yellowstone. Yes, now I remember. Yellowstone. From 1995 to 2007, the wolf population increased by a staggering 150 individuals. More wolves snacking on piastrotes resulted in their population halving in just 2 years. Imagine that. 50% drop in numbers in just 24 months. The poor blighters had to shift territories. They wouldn't even go after carcasses out in the open. Now this is what is called an ecology of fear. Reduced numbers of coyotes allowed the pronghorn's population to recover. Wolves even stole mountain lion kills, forcing those jokers back to their natural territory. Mountains. Bet you weren't expecting that. Now back to Interlagos. In the first 12 laps, Verstappen gained 11 places, overtaking the likes of Piastri, Hamilton, and most importantly of all, Fernando Alonso. To be fair, he probably could have overtaken him without the rain, but to get ahead of Oscar? It was unfathomable. How was this happening? In the words of Ayrton Senna, you cannot overtake 15 cars in sunny weather, but you can when it's raining. So basically he was 6th on the track and locked in like Perez in Azerbaijan. But the best was yet to come. Now, what was the major impact of this entire venture? Well, you see, by the time the red flag happened during lap 32, Norris and Russell had already pitted and replaced their worn-out tires, but Mad Max, the Napoleon that he is, stayed out, allowing him to pit during the red flag. In short, he effectively jumped Norris and Georgie, ending up in second place, behind the one, the only, the notorious Esteban Ocon. Esteban Ocon. He was never going to last long with a psychopath like Sid on his tail. And just as Verstappen snatched first place, Norris, the elk that he is, went off track, stumbling and bumbling his way off the asphalt. Max went on to win the race by 19 seconds, obviously, setting the fastest lap a mere 17 times, obviously. Norris settled for 6th place. Exactly the same happened in the park. Verstappen overtook his biggest competitor, Lando. The park's health took priority over that of the elk populations. Each wolf was predicted to kill 12 elk in the first year, but actually they killed 22. That's roughly 460 elk dead in 1 year. Population took a massive hit. Massive. Increased cortisol levels, which means scarecrow's fear toxin, forced them into less favorable habitats, resulting in reduced nutrition and breeding. The age of overgrazing was over. Tree species like willows and aspens thrived. More trees meant the beaver, the local architect and a keystone species, grew stronger. One colony became 9 in just 10 years. Yeah. More dams provided habitats for fish, waterfowl, and otters. Even moose. Everything was, as it should be, in perfect balance. Down in the lab, we called it a trophic cascade. Trophic, I don't know what it is. In English, an unnaturally large change in the ecosystem structure caused by throwing in an apex predator or two. just like the rain, a simple thing which allowed Max to climb the hill back to Grand Prix victory. Yeah, oh yeah.
It's just as Senna said. Rain makes all cars equal, but not the drivers.
Not much more to say about Yellowstone, really. Fishing's allowed, if you have a license. $75 for the whole season. Slightly more expensive than Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Visitors are encouraged not to feed animals, because it usually leads to someone getting tagged by a grizzly. Bears have caused 8 deaths in Yellowstone's history, which is pretty low, considering how dim-witted some people can be. They think it's going to be like Winnie the Pooh on steroids, but it's not. Think more on these lines. The scientific name is Ursus arctos horribilis. Verstappen's doing pretty well nowadays, considering he's driving something made by John Deere. Third most points, behind the Elk and Piastroti, who are only ahead, I may add, because of their vehicles. Put them in that track the Red Bulls constructed, and they'll be finishing behind Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll.
Lance Stroll. The most useless driver ever. A generation ago.
Thank you for listening to this story about Yellowstone National Park and making it this far. Gosh, there must be 5 people left. Regardless, I hope you gained a newfound appreciation for wolves today, as well as an appreciation for how important the rain was for Max Verstappen. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please drop a like and subscribe. That is, if you want more stories like these. Until next time.